The first thing Emily noticed was the noise. Not the traffic noise she had learned to expect in the Philippines, not the honking or the tricycles coughing their way through narrow streets, but music. Loud, cheerful, slightly off-key music blasting from speakers that looked far too small to produce that much sound. It came from everywhere at once, bouncing off concrete walls, sari-sari stores, and houses painted in shades of turquoise, pink, and a color that might once have been yellow. Emily stood at the edge of the town plaza, holding a plastic cup of something purple and cold, watching people move with the kind of purpose usually reserved for emergencies or weddings. Except this didn't feel like either. It felt like joy on a schedule. A man wearing a basketball jersey was hanging banderitas across the street, climbing a ladder that wobbled dangerously with each step. Children ran underneath him without fear. An old woman shouted instructions from a plastic chair as if she were the town's unofficial director. Somewhere, a pig squealed in protest, unaware of the cultural significance about to change its life. Emily turned to her friend Lido, who had brought her to this town just to relax. Why is everyone acting like it's New Year's Eve, Christmas, and a wedding all at once? She asked. Lido grinned. Fiesta. Yes, Emily said slowly. But why? Lido shrugged. It's Fiesta. That was her first lesson. Emily had been in the Philippines for 6 months by then. Long enough to stop being shocked by rice at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Long enough to understand that maybe later could mean anything from an hour to never. Long enough to accept that dogs here crossed streets with more confidence than she did. But fiestas were still a mystery. Back home in the United States, celebrations had reasons that were written down clearly. Independence Day, Thanksgiving, birthdays, graduations. Even random festivals came with explanations, founders, anniversaries, marketing strategies. In the Philippines, however, it seemed every town had a fiesta, and no one could fully explain why. Ask 10 people and you get 12 answers. Some said it was for the town's patron saint. Others said it was tradition. A few said it was because their grandparents did it. One man confidently told Emily it was just because we survived another year. The town Emily stood in that day was small, the kind of place tourists usually pass through without stopping. But today, it looked like the center of the universe. There were balloons tied to electric posts. A makeshift stage had been built using plywood and faith. Someone was testing a microphone by yelling testing, testing, and then singing a full song instead of stopping. Emily took a sip of the purple drink. It tasted like grape soda and childhood. Okay, she said. Walk me through this. What exactly happens at a fiesta? Lido pointed in several directions at once. There's food, dancing, basketball tournament, beauty pageant, drinking, church, singing, more food, some drama, then more food. That's not a schedule, Emily said. That is the schedule. As the day went on, Emily realized the fiesta wasn't a single event. It was a controlled explosion of everything Filipino towns valued, all happening at the same time. At one house, she was invited in by a woman she had never met, who greeted her like a long-lost cousin. Inside, a table groaned under the weight of dishes, pancit noodles for long life, lechon that crackled invitingly, lumpia stacked like gold bars, and desserts she couldn't name but was told to eat anyway. Eat, eat. The woman insisted, pushing a plate into Emily's hands. I just ate, Emily protested weakly. That was before, the woman said, as if it explained everything. Emily learned that during a fiesta, the normal rules of eating were suspended. Hunger was optional, refusal was rude. Leftovers were an insult to the cook's pride. Food wasn't just food here. It was proof of effort, generosity, and social standing. A good fiesta meant a full table. A great fiesta meant neighbors whispering, "They really prepared." Outside, the basketball court was packed. Teenage boys played as if scouts from the NBA were hiding behind the banana trees. Every basket was met with cheers loud enough to shake the nearby houses. Emily noticed that some of the players were clearly exhausted, but none of them dared stop. Do they win anything? She asked. Bragging rights, Leto said. Until next fiesta. Nearby, children practiced a dance routine, repeating the same steps over and over while an older girl shouted counts. Emily watched as a little boy missed a step, tripped, and immediately got up laughing. No one scolded him. Someone clapped harder. In the afternoon, the sun showed no mercy, but no one slowed down. Emily saw men carrying chairs, women adjusting decorations, teenagers running errands, and elders supervising everything with an authority that came from age and memory. She noticed something else too. No one seemed to be in charge. There was no event coordinator with a clipboard, no printed program, no official timeline posted anywhere. And yet, everything somehow worked. When Emily asked who organized the fiesta, Leto pointed vaguely toward the church. The barangay? She guessed. Also, the mayor? Sometimes. So who decides all this? Leto thought about it. Everyone. That answer stayed with her. Later that evening, as the sun dipped low and the lights flickered on, the mood shifted. A procession moved through the streets, carrying an image of a saint decorated with flowers. People followed quietly, candles in hand, their earlier laughter replaced by a gentle seriousness. Emily walked alongside them, feeling strangely included. She wasn't Catholic. She didn't know the prayers. But no one questioned her presence. This, she realized, was another reason for the fiesta. It wasn't just a party. It was a reminder of shared beliefs, shared history, shared survival. In towns like this, life wasn't easy. Jobs were unstable. Money was tight. Typhoons came without warning. Government help arrived late, if at all. But once a year, at least once a year, the town chose joy. After the procession, the music returned louder than before, as if making up for the brief pause. Someone handed Emily a microphone. "Sing," they said. "I can't sing," she protested. "That's okay," they said and turned up the volume. Emily sang badly, very badly, but no one cared. They cheered anyway. That night, sitting on a plastic chair under string lights, Emily finally asked the question again, this time to an old man sipping beer beside her. "Why do you have a fiesta every year?" The man smiled, lines creasing his face. "So we remember we are still here," he said. She nodded, unsure if she fully understood. The next day, she helped clean up. That, she learned, was also part of the fiesta. Decorations came down. Leftover food was distributed. The basketball court returned to its normal quiet state. Life resumed, but something had shifted. Over the next months, Emily visited other towns, bigger cities, mountain provinces, coastal villages. And every place had its own fiesta. Some were grand with parades and fireworks. Others were simple with just a few dishes and borrowed speakers. Some honored saints she had never heard of. Others celebrated harvests, history, or events half remembered. And in every place, when she asked why, the answers were always similar and never complete. It's tradition. It's for Thanksgiving. It's for blessings. It's for fun. It's for togetherness. Slowly, Emily began to understand that the question itself missed the point. Fiestas weren't about the original reason anymore. They were about continuity. In a country shaped by colonization, disasters, and constant change, fiestas were a way to anchor identity. They connected generations. Grandparents taught dances to grandchildren. Recipes were passed down. Stories were retold. Fiestas taught children where they came from. They taught adults that they belonged. They taught visitors like Emily that community didn't need perfection, it needed participation. Back in the US, Emily had lived in a city where neighbors barely knew each other's names. Celebrations were planned weeks in advance, often behind closed doors. Here, a fiesta spilled into the streets. It demanded involvement. You couldn't just watch. You were absorbed. And yes, sometimes it was chaotic. Sometimes it was expensive. Families saved money all year just to prepare food for guests who might not even come, but no one complained. Because for one day, everyone mattered. The tricycle driver, the teacher, the unemployed cousin, the overseas worker home for a visit, the foreigner who didn't sing well. Everyone had a seat. Everyone had a plate. Emily eventually made a video about it. She titled it exactly how she had felt that first day. Why every Filipino town has a fiesta, and no one knows why. In the video, she joked about the noise, the food, the lack of planning. She laughed about being forced to eat 5 meals in one afternoon. She teased the karaoke singers who refused to stop. But she also talked about what she learned. That fiestas were social glue, that they were emotional resets, that they were reminders in a country where life could be hard, that happiness didn't need permission. At the end of the video, she said something simple. Maybe Filipinos don't know exactly why they have fiestas anymore, but maybe that's because the reason has become bigger than the origin. It's not about the saint or the date or the history book. It's about choosing joy together. The comments poured in. Filipinos agreed, argued, added their own reasons. And Emily smiled, realizing she still didn't fully understand. But she didn't need to, because some things aren't meant to be explained. They're meant to be celebrated.